that imagination to manifest the imagination. And so you have to have imagination, and this comes from the creative mind. So the function of the creative mind is your wishes, your desires, your aspirations. What is it you want? If I asked any one of you right now, I said, tell me what you want from your life, the answer is going to come from the creative mind. You're going to create and say, this is what I want. And I say, well, this is the important part, because this is where your power lies, your ability to manifest a creation, okay? It's also the mind that has what is called positive thinking. And positive thinking, well, people go, oh, the positive thinking doesn't work. I had some very positive thoughts and they never work. And I go, no, you got to understand, positive thinking does work. And I'll give you an example of it. For 100 years, we've known something about the placebo effect. The placebo effect is strictly the result of positive thinking. But then why doesn't it work for most people? Well, stick with me a few more minutes. I'm going to tell you why. Because I want you to take that understanding and create your life from the conscious mind, not from now what I'm going to talk about, the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is different. The subconscious mind is like a record playback device. In other words, it's actually a habitual mind. It's habits. And I say, oh, you know what? So many people say, oh, the subconscious mind is where all the evil is, the Freudian mind. I go, wrong. The subconscious mind is a hard drive in a computer. Is the hard drive in a computer evil? No. But some of the programs might suck. So the whole idea about it is this, is think about the positive side of the subconscious mind. When did you learn how to walk? When did you guys learn how to walk? Before you were 2. Are you still walking? Yes. Did you have to relearn how to walk? No. You could be 102 and still be walking with what? The same program you got before you were 2. So when a program goes into the subconscious mind, it's going to stay there a long, long time. And because it's the habit mind, recognize this is a critical part. Habits don't want to change. If a habit changes, then it's not a habit. So guess what? The subconscious mind resists change. Because if it changes, just one day you wake up and you forgot how to walk, what good would that be? So the idea is you wake up every day from now for 100 years, you're still going to walk. Why? It resists change. Okay? So I say, where do these habits come from? Well, a lot of them are instincts built in genetically. If a ball is coming towards your face, you will automatically blink really fast, beyond how fast you can believe, to protect your eye. That's a reflex. Or hit somebody in the knee and they kick. That's a reflex. These are instincts. They're built in. Okay? But the other things are experiences, like walking, talking, driving a car, playing an instrument. Once it becomes a habit, you don't ever have to think about it again. So it's really great. A musician will practice, practice, and practice, and then when they get on the stage, they can play without looking at the music or anything. They have a habit, okay? Habits can be good. Habits can be bad. So we have to recognize and distinguish between them. But now comes the more critical part of learning. This is very critical. This next part of learning is actually what we learn from. It's acquired beliefs, acquired behavior. What does that mean? We didn't experience it. We got it from other people. And the point is this. Most of your acquired beliefs come from your programming, from your family and your community. You didn't put those beliefs in there. They were downloaded by observing other people. Record, playback. And we'll talk about the reason for that in a minute. So the significance is this. The subconscious mind is the equivalent of a hard drive in a computer. It's got programs in it. And the beautiful part about it is if the programs are supporting you, they make it very effective. I mean, think about if you woke up every day and you had to learn how to walk every day. By the end of the day, you say, oh, I just learned how to walk, and now it's time to go to bed. And in the morning, I say, I got to learn how to walk. And you start all over again. No, God bless that subconscious mind. But also recognize this. It can be programmed with dysfunctional, disempowering, and limiting beliefs. And in fact, a lot of it is. And you got these not because you wanted them, but they were downloaded actually before you were 7 years of age. And I'll explain why when we understand the nature of it. So, the brain, as I mentioned, is an information processor. Whether it's the membrane or the brain is an information processor. So it's a computer. I say, so what about a computer? I said, well, in the old days when we used to go buy a computer, it didn't come with programs. I say, you got a brand new computer, you just bring it home, you plug it in, you push start, and it boots up. Hey, the screen goes on. And I say, now do something, write an essay, make a drawing, you know, do a spreadsheet. He said, I can't do it. I said, you got a brand new computer. He said, not until I put a program in the computer can I use the computer. Okay? So the program part really is coming from the equivalent of what we call the hard drive, the memory. You put programs into the hard drive memory, and once the programs are in there, then you can access the keyboard, which is where you put information into the computer. So first we put the programs in, and then the keyboard becomes creativity. You type what you want into the computer. You see? So this is how it works. First the program, then the ability to be creative with a program. So, subconscious mind, hard drive, program, conscious mind, keyboard, creative. The difference between those two, okay? So, when you're an embryo, you're developing in a womb. And from this picture right here, it almost is a very interesting picture for me because it looks like a petri dish with an embryo growing in it. I go to test, it's exactly the same as we talked about. Cells in a petri dish are genetically controlled by the culture medium. But in this case of the fetus, the culture medium is the mother's blood. And I told you, yes, it comes with nutrition, but it also comes with information. And that information then becomes epigenetic information inside that, but controlled by the mother and the father and their life experiences as this fetus is developing. Point, mother and father, Head Start program. Baby's in the womb, but it's going to be living out here in the world, so whatever the parents are experiencing out here, the fetus gets a chance to experience it inside, so it can be already developing toward living outside, okay? So this is a sonogram, and it's showing a fetus in here, and I'll show it to you in a second. It's made in Italy, so it has an Italian, language to it. What's important about it is this. They create an argument between the mother and father because they want to show you the response of the fetus to what's going on. And the significance is, okay, so it's in Italian, but guess what? An argument sounds the same. I don't care what language it's in. An argument, okay? But I want you to observe the response of the fetus as the parents are having an argument here in this particular case. Let me get my pointer helper so I can point it out to you. And here we go. Fetus.
Quando un bambino nasce,
That baby is arching its back in fear.
quando un bambino nasce,
The mother's stress hormones go into the fetus and affect the fetus the same way it affects the mother. Changes the blood flow in the fetus, changes the genetic activity of the fetus as well. And it adjusts the fetus to fit a world where it seems like struggle is a part of it. If an argument occurs between the parents and it's a very rare event, that's not what's going to change the baby. It's some pattern that repeats itself. It's a repetition, a learning repetition. So if this is the same kind of argument they have during the development of the child, this fetus will already come out totally stressed out as a result of the chemistry of the hormones that went into that fetus at the same time. So it's learning even before it's born by repetitive patterns that the parents are playing, okay? But after it's born, and this is very critical for all of us, after it's born, there's a change in the neurological function of the baby. Now, as an adult, if I put wires on your head, it's called electroencephalograph, I could read your brain activity. As an adult, we have a whole range of brain activities, from sleeping to peak performance activities going on. I said they're all different vibrations. Vibrations meaning when you put the electrodes on, you're reading a vibrational frequency. The lower the frequency, the more fundamental it is at that point. But as you go up, and consciousness is increasing as the frequency goes up. So I say, but about a baby, I say, no, the baby isn't born with a whole range of frequency. The baby's frequencies build up over time. So I say, okay, here we are, a child under 2, is primarily what is called delta. That's the lowest vibration of the brain. That's like idling in a car. It's just idling going on. Delta is sleep or unconscious. Consciousness is not involved. This is just the body is running on idle and it's sleeping, okay? But by age 2 through age 7, the frequencies increase. And the frequency increases and it's called theta. Theta is characterized as imagination. And this is how children live in the imaginary world. As I mentioned, the tea party, they pour nothing in the cup and they talk about how it was the best tea they ever had. Or the child riding on a broom. In the child's mind, it's not a broom, it's a horse. I go, the significance is so a horse that the mother says, give me the broom. And the child says, what are you talking about? It's not a broom. To that child right now, in theta, imagination, it's a horse. So theta is imagination mixing with the real world. But by age 7, the frequency increases. And now it's called alpha. And this is a higher vibration, and this is calm consciousness. This is when a child recognizes they're a self compared to everybody else. Before that, they don't distinguish themselves from everybody else. But by age 7, it's self-conscious. I'm aware of me being different than everybody else. And then by 12, it ramps up to the next higher level, beta, which is the kind of consciousness that most of you are in here right now. Focused consciousness. There's one more I didn't put in the chart, a higher one called gamma. And gamma is called peak performance. A pilot flying a plane flies it on beta, but when he's going to land the plane, he goes to a higher vibration, gamma, peak performance, landing that plane. A person playing in a sports competition like tennis, when they're in the final competition, they're not just in beta, they're in peak performance, a higher vibration, gamma. Okay? So gamma is like the highest vibration of the brain function. Now I go back and I say, well, what's interesting about this? And the first thing you should notice is, a child's not even conscious until age 7. So the first 7 years is called the programmable state. The child is not in creative consciousness at this point. And I say, well, what's significant about this is that theta is hypnosis. Remember the old days? Some of you, a lot of you are young. I'm the old guy. I remember that. They used to show the hypnotherapist, and he had a watch, pendulum watch, and he says, you watch this movement, and you're watching the watch, and as he's saying, you're getting tired, you're getting sleepy. Why was the hypnotherapist saying that? And the answer was to take you from the conscious level down to theta, because that's when whatever they're going to introduce through the hypnosis will go into the subconscious mind. Theta is the doorway to the subconscious mind, okay? So I said, well, why are we in theta for all this? And the answer is simple. How many rules do you have to learn to be a member of a family and a community? My God, thousands of rules. And yet a child can't read the book. You can't put them in a classroom. Hey, 3-year-olds, sit down. Let me give you the program to be a member of the community. It's not going to work. Nature took care of this. Because nature created that first time period, that first 7 years, as a programmable state, and this is where enculturation occurs. How do I know the rules to fit into the world? And the answer is this. You watch your parents, your family, and your community in theta, which is a video recorder. I'm recording my father's behavior, my mother's behavior, etc. And I go, you know how many rules? Just to give you a simple example. How a father talks to his own child is not how the father talks to a neighbor's child. It's not how the father talks to his wife. It's not the way the father talks to the neighbor's wife. It's not the way the father talks to the policeman. All of a sudden you start seeing, oh my God, you need to have a whole bunch of different roles to play, and you have to program them to use them appropriately to fit in. And so enculturation is you learn the rules by watching other people play the rules, and then you download them because you're in a state of hypnosis. That's how you got it. So you're in a relationship? Well, guess what? Generally, if you're the male in the relationship, you patterned after your father, and you're looking for what? A partner like your mother. Why? That's the relationship, and it's important because personally, my father and mother had a dysfunctional relationship. And what was I downloading? dysfunctional behavior. And as we're going to talk about, most of your life is coming from the subconscious. So where did I have a problem? Trying to find a relationship using the download that I got from my father. It was dysfunctional. I couldn't find a relationship, okay? Or you find someone, you model yourself after your mother. And if she, has given up her power and is being bossed by the father, if a woman is watching this, what she's going to look for? A domineering male to treat her the way. So in other words, you're just copying what you see, and that programs your behavior. Now comes the most serious part, and that is this, that we also get self-identity. Who are you? Who do you know? Who are you? How do you know who you are? You ready? Other people tell you who you are. Oh, I'll give you the scenario that most of us never had. Probably none of us ever have. I say, what's that scenario? Okay, here it is. A father talking to their baby. Why, you're the smartest, most wonderful, loving child that ever came to the planet. You are so smart. You are so powerful. You can create anything. You are beautiful. You are perfect. No, most of us didn't get that one. I go, what did we get? You ready? And here's where the problem comes from. First, I'll give you an example. If there's a sport team and a player on the team isn't performing well, do you think the coach goes, oh, please do better? No. The coach says, that's not good enough. Who do you think you are? You don't deserve to be on this team. And all of a sudden, that person, that kid is not under 7. They're over. I say, oh yeah, but now they're in consciousness. What do they know? Oh, the coach is saying that because I'm not performing well, and he wants me to perform better. I say, yeah. Now take a parent that acts as a coach, and they're talking to their kid, 6 years old, 5 years old. That's not good enough. That's not lovable. You don't deserve this. The child that's screaming in Kmart because they just went by the toy thing and the dad's trying to get the hell out of the store pushing the cart. I want. And the father says, you don't deserve that. Did the father mean you don't deserve that for the rest of your life? No. He just meant right now the father's pissed off. He wants to get out of the store. But the point is, a child under 7 records exactly what they heard. So the recording of that child is, I do not deserve. And if it happens more than once, then that becomes a program. Then I say, well, now he's 50 years old, 40 years old. He's coming from the subconscious. What's the subconscious? I do not deserve. So what do you think the function of the mind is, which I've repeated? Is to make coherence between the belief and the reality. If I have a belief I do not deserve, then my behavior is going to come from the subconscious and do what? Sabotage me so that in the end, I didn't get it. And in the end, it's like, oh, I didn't deserve it. That wasn't what the intention was. But parents act as coaches without knowing the words they say to a child under 7 are recorded without consciousness. They're just programs at that point. And so most of us have come through programming of limitation, disempowerment, self-sabotaging. Not because their parents meant that, it's because they didn't even know that the words they were saying to you were being recorded and becoming programs. Parents, if they knew this, they wouldn't have said that, at this point. So the significance is this. Children become programmed for 7 years because of the amount of information required to be a member of the family and the community. Nature said the only way you're going to get that information into that kid is that kid has to be in hypnosis and just download it. And all of us came from this. And as a result, we have a really difficult time because, as I'm going to explain, your life is primarily coming from the subconscious mind. And this creates a problem. I'll explain why in a second. So I go, yep, this is where it all went wrong. This is where your life went wrong. Because if you didn't have the parents to fully encourage you, then there's going to be an issue in this, okay? And I really, well, you know what? I have some wonderful parents right here. Do you mind the Jane family standing up just for a second? Who is this family? Come on, I'm going to embarrass you. Stand the hell up. No, stand up. I want to say why. These are Shamini's parents. And Shamini is a beautiful soul And it came from those wonderful parents that have helped her become that. You can sit down now. But I needed to show you why. Because some people are doing so much better than other people in this world. And I say that, why? Were they genetically better? In some sense, I say no. They were programmed differently. And if you have really good parents that knew what I am talking about right now, they would program their kid to be the most positive, powerful person on this planet, because that's who we are, until the program that says, no, you're not. And this is really critical, because almost all of us have negative programming from that time period. And I want to help you with this. You know why? Because I say, what program did you get before you were born? Obviously, I have no idea what the hell the program was. Okay, what program? You were being programmed from 0 to 1. That's a whole year. What program did you get in that first year? Well, I have no idea what that program was. Okay? You were programmed from 1 to 2, another whole year. What the hell program is that? I don't know. Why? You weren't conscious. You weren't there when that programming was going on. And yet these programs control your life. So a little hint. Here's the hint. You ready? I'll get to it in a minute. 95% of your life is coming from the program. Your life is a printout of your programs. Significance right now, you can look at it right now, and here's the point. The things that you like that come into your life, they come into your life because you have a program to accept those things in your life. But the things you desire, you work hard for, you sweat over, I'm going to make it happen. I'm working on it. Why are you working so hard? And the answer is this. Your subconscious program didn't support that. And then look at it this way. Everything you're putting an effort into to make it work, you're only fighting yourself. Because what you're trying to accomplish and you can't get there is not because the universe won't give it to you. It's your own subconscious limitations. So I really need you to understand that, because when we're going to talk about programming a little bit, I want you to understand you can right now identify your programs. Just look at your life. The things that come in and you're happy for them, they came in because you have program for that. The things that come in you're not happy about, you got a program for that. And all of a sudden, stop looking outside, and this is what we do, and I'll explain. I better just go on, because I'm telling you what I want to explain after I show you a couple more slides. First, I'll show you the slides, then I'm going to explain it. Okay. Here it is. The secret mind, how your unconscious really shapes your decisions. According to cognitive neuroscientists, we are conscious of only about 5% of our cognitive activity. You are conscious about 5% of your activities. That's your creative part. Your wishes, desires, aspirations, only 5% of the day are you actually going in that direction. That's the amount of time your consciousness is actually controlling your behavior. But as it goes on, it says, so most of our decisions, actions, emotions, and behavior depends on the 95% of the brain activity that goes beyond our conscious awareness, that is subconscious. So 95% of your life is coming from the subconscious, 5% from the conscious. I go, well, this is a real bitch, because I just told you that subconscious programming is so filled with limitation and disempowerment that all day long you end up trying to struggle through these subconscious programs that we have, right? So, simple point. Conscious mind, creative, wishes, desires, and all that. Subconscious habit, instincts, experience, acquired behavior, 5% from here, 95% from there. You're not creating the life you want. You're creating the life you've been programmed to create. And most of that is disempowering. And this becomes profoundly important, because I want you to create the life you want. Because if I said to everybody in the world, what do you want to create? Almost everybody would have the same thing. I want to have love. I want to have security. I want to have a place to live. I want some food. I want a job. And I go, if we are all thinking that, then the world would turn into something completely different. But most of us are programmed not to see this stuff. Most of our programs are limitation. Who do you think you are? You don't deserve this. You're not worthy. You're not lovable. Where the hell did you get that picture from? Before you were 7. And this becomes critical because your life is the program before 7, not the activity after 7. And this is really critical in this understanding, okay? So you've been programmed, totally programmed. So I go back and I say to the computer, I go, yep, the subconscious mind, 5% is coming from creativity, 95% program, subconscious mind. Your life is not the one that you are leading with your wishes and desires. Your life is leading. You say, but why? Why only 5%? And here's the answer. The conscious mind is creative. It can think. I go, yeah, but thinking is not looking out the window. Thinking is looking inside. A thought is inside. So if the conscious mind, consider your biology as a vehicle, and your conscious mind is driving. I said, where's your conscious mind going to take you? Wishes, desires, aspiration. I'm driving there. And I said, well, what happens if you're thinking? Thoughts are not on the outside. Thoughts are on the inside. So guess what? The moment you start thinking, consciousness lets go of the wheel. I go, what am I? I'm in trouble. I let go of the wheel. Who's driving the vehicle? Subconscious is autopilot. The moment the conscious is thinking, the subconscious has now grabbed the wheel, and where's it going to drive you? To the programs that you downloaded. Are they great programs? Nope. The vast majority, 60% or more, are disempowering, self-sabotaging programs. And then your life is a struggle. And you're wondering, why is my life a struggle? Why am I having so much of a problem finding what I want? And here's the answer. Ready? The Jesuits have known for 400 years and even told their followers, and their followers didn't even understand what the hell they were saying. The Jesuits said, give me a child for the first 7 years and I'll give you the man. They knew what I just showed you. First 7 years is programming. The rest of that, 95% is program. So they knew that already. So what do you think they did? They created Catholic school. That may program you so the rest of your life will conform to the program. You may not believe in the church, but guess what? Your subconscious will always take you back to that place again. And they've been telling people, and you think people that this little caveat was just forgotten? Are you kidding me? The leadership of this world knows this program backwards and forwards, so much so there are better programs than the Jesuits could ever imagine. You'd see a kid who's an infant, can hardly walk, carrying an iPad. That's programming. We've been programmed. But the programming is disempowering. Why? Well, they're powerful people. I said, how did they get more powerful? Where did they get the power? Job, they don't have any more power than you. They just took away your power, so they're the ones that still have the power. And the idea was, you have been purposely programmed to be disempowered so that other people can control you. And this is why the education we got has taken away your power. And all you do is find struggle when other people, the 1%, are living in the wealth of all this. Oh, they're so powerful. I go, they're no more powerful than you are, except they haven't been programmed to lose that power. And it becomes really critical for us to understand this. And the process is this, that this is subconscious. I go, what does subconscious mean? It's not consciously aware of what you're doing. You don't see this. What do you mean? I said, I'm creating some negative behavior. I should be able to see it. I said, no, you don't see the behavior. You see the result of the behavior. You go forward every morning. You wake up 8 o'clock and go, today I'm going to get healthy. Today, I'm going to find that perfect relationship. Today, I'm going to get the best job in the world. And that's at 8 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock. Nah, didn't happen today. Didn't happen. And then I said, well, why didn't it happen? And they go, well, that person interfered with me. And these people interfered with me. And that program messed me up. And I go, you're a victim. And we've been programmed to accept that I'm a victim without recognizing you were the creator of that program all day long. But why didn't you see it? Because you were thinking. I say, so what? I say, but thinking is inside. So the moment you're thinking, you're not observing the outside. But everybody else is observing you. What are they observing? not the conscious creative you. They're observing the program you, the one with the limitations, the one with the elephant with a rope on the leg. Do you see it? No. And this is the story, many of you are familiar with it, and I love it because here is a profound story. You have a friend, and you know your friend's behavior very well. And you happen to know your friend's parent. And one day you see your friend has the exact same behavior as their parent. This excites you. You want to tell your friend, "Hey, Bill, you're just like your dad." Back away from Bill. I know what Bill's going to say. I know exactly what he's going to say. He's going to say, "How could you compare me to my dad? I'm nothing like my dad." And most of you have had all this experience to know this. I go, why is this the most profound story in the world? And the answer is this. Everybody else can see that Bill behaves like his dad. Who's the one that doesn't see it? Bill. Why doesn't Bill see it? Because he's thinking while he's playing the program and Bill doesn't see it. You ready for this now? Ready? Hold on. We are all Bill. Every one of us is doing this every day. And all we see is the result of the bad behavior that was programmed, and we look for the success. And we wonder why I'm not successful. Bless you, darling. Got one more? No, the point about it is this. We keep looking for the success, but we're not finding it. And it's a struggle. Life is a struggle. I said, but life is not a struggle. Life is creative. You just didn't know that you were creating, not from wishes and desires, you were creating from the subconscious program. And you didn't see it, just like Bill. And if you understand this, then now that's why I said, look at your life. Tell me where you're struggling. It's not the universe that is giving you struggle. It's your own subconscious program that is undermining you. And if you understand this, then you have an opportunity to do what? Change the damn program. And I go, well, what do you mean change the program? He said, I was thinking very positive thoughts. I was thinking these positive thoughts. And guess what? It doesn't work. I go, yeah, but positive thoughts at the most are 5% of the day. Because the moment that 5% is over with, you're back to the old program you were. So positive thinking cannot work unless it agrees with the subconscious. That's the difference. If your mind, your conscious wishes and desires are in agreement with the subconscious program, you manifest. But if your wishes and desires are conflicted with the program, you can't manifest. Because the program is running you 95% of the day. That's why, to me, it was so important for you to recognize your life is not an accident. We're all creators. But nobody has been distinguishing what's the difference between the conscious and the subconscious. And this is it. You are the conscious. You are the spirit in the conscious. You are the creative individual, but only 5% of the day. And if you understand this, then you have to change, because it's up to you to make a change. You know, it's interesting. I was in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and it was interesting because we bussed in 300 Palestinians from the West Bank. Most of these Palestinians never crossed that line between Palestine and Israel. Never even crossed it. There was a line right there. Lived their whole life on this side of the line, never got on that. We bussed them in. And at the University of Tel Aviv, we had a big conference like this. 1,500 people. A lot of Palestinians. You know what? Separate from the Israelis. They just got their own little Palestinian community over here. The Israelis had their community over here. And they've been fighting each other for a couple hundred years. And I give the story of programming and development. And I then show them this slide. And when I showed them the slide, in this big auditorium, if you drop a pin, you could have heard that pin. Why? They were dead silent, because this is the truth that they had to deal with. I said, what's the problem? I said, what's the problem? That's the problem. They trained their kids to play with the weapons. They trained their kids to wear uniforms and guns. Against who? Who's fighting who? They're fighting each other. The kids are programmed to hate each other. They don't even know the other people. They got programmed before they even met the other side. I said, this is the problem. You've already created the division, the war on kids that don't even know each other. And when they get to know each other, they either love them because they're on the right side or they hate them because they're on the wrong side. Who the hell put the sides in there? When did that happen? 200 frickin' years ago. I go, why is it relevant? You're propagating the same old belief, and you're programming a child to hate another person. They haven't even met them yet. And this didn't happen just in Israel. It happens everywhere. It happened in this country. It happens in countries all around the world. What do? We separate the population. Oh, we don't like those people. We change those people. I said, what do you mean? I said, hey, look, the indigenous people of this world, the Native Americans, when we learn to evolve, we're going to emulate who they were. But we put them out. We got rid of them. We pushed them on a reservation, got rid of them. The black people in this country came from slavery. I said, yeah, they're still slaves. David, where's David in here? David, stand up. Here's my man from Detroit, David. And David is trying to change this world and bring new thinking in for the black population of Detroit. And I appreciate this man because he's going to change the world. Why? Because we programmed it. I said, when? Last week? No, 200 frickin' years ago. Why? Parents pass the programming on in the first 7 years. And they pass it on. And you pass this programming you have on to your kids. Why? Because 95% of your life is coming from the program. And you can say, I'm going to be a conscious parent. I'm going to be the most lovable parent in the world. I go, that's 5%. Because you can promise to be the conscious parent, but 95% of the day you're still going to play the program. And I say, these programs have been passed generation to generation to generation. Just as much as the Israelis and the Palestinians are fighting each other, just as much as the black people are trying to get a foothold into this world, just as much as the Native Americans who are locked on a reservation with the belief that they're drunk and lazy people. Where the hell did that come from? We programmed them. And it's time for them to wake up, because all of us are the same. As I mentioned the other day, I said, we're all spirits, but the body is just the vehicle. And I said, guess what? If you think you're in the right place this time in this life because you feel you're in the upper something or other, well, next time you come back, you could be in the lower something or other. And the point about it is this. We are spirits, all of us. The bodies, that's just a machine. That's not who you are. And if we understand this, then we recognize, I don't care what color, what race, what religion, what nationality, we're all the same community of spirit. And when we join together, we will have love on this planet. That's what it's all about. Thank you. Thank you. The solution is this. I showed them the next slide. I said, this is the solution. Look, Arab, Israeli boys hugging each other, Arab, Israeli girls hugging each other. And the point is this. If they grew up as kids knowing each other, there would be no violence between them. A couple who are friends of ours, Ehab and Ora, a wonderful little story. Ehab, Palestinian, Ora, Israeli. They were both in the Sinai desert, each for whatever different mission they were on, and they were walking toward each other. And they got within, I think, 12, 15 feet of each other, and they both stopped. And it was that thunderbolt of love. They just saw each other, and it was like, ah! 3 days later, they got married. 3 days later. Now the problem begins. They have to go home. Ehab goes home to his Palestinian family and tells, Dad, I married an Israeli woman. True story. His dad picked up a knife and chased him around the house. He said that was a violation of their whole race, that he would do that, marry an Israeli girl. And he fled, left his father's house. She went and told her parents, they sort of kicked her out of the house. They said, no, not going to talk to you anymore. But they were in love, so they just came together. You know where the big problem came? She was pregnant. And they said, well, what are we going to do with our baby? Where are we going to send our baby to school? So they went to the Arab school, and they both looked at it and said, no, this is bad programming. They went to the Israeli school. No, bad programming. They even went to the Christian school. You know what? Worse programming. And they realized that there was no way they could send their kid to school. So they created their own school called the Garden of Abraham. Abraham is a prophet for both the Palestinians and the Israelis. And the school had kids from 2 to 3 years old up to 6 years old. And guess what? The kids came from Palestinian families. They came from Israeli families. The teachers were Palestinian. The teachers were Israeli. And I went and visited the school. You know, there's no animosity or hatred among kids when they play together. And that these kids that play together will never grow up and carry a gun against each other. They grew up as friends. They learned each other's languages. They learned to play together. And I go, what was the result? Stop the goddamn programming of separation. Separation is killing us. This country we're in right now is so separate and polarized, it's unbelievable. How can we have peace when people are fighting each other over the principles of what does the U.S. even stand for? We're having a problem out here, but it's a breakdown. And I go, but that's the best part of it. It is a breakdown. Because it says if it breaks down, then we can build something new. And this is why we're here. And this is the beautiful part. So this to me is important. And now I think I'm going to cheat, take a few more minutes, because I'm going to. Elon's not here. Let's just go with it. I talked yesterday about vibration and resonance. And I said that when vibrations are in harmony, they come together and you get good vibes, constructive interference. When vibrations are antagonistic to each other, they cancel each other out, no vibration. And there's a story that if you take a tuning fork that has the same vibration as the atoms in a goblet, I said, what happens if I strike that tuning fork? And the answer is profoundly important because the vibrations of both of them are the same. Remember I showed you the two waves coming together? I said, what happened when they come together and they're in harmony? The vibrations got more powerful. Good vibes. I go, not good vibes for a goblet. Why? Because if the atoms start moving too fast in the goblet doesn't break. It actually explodes. And vocalists hitting the right frequency can break goblets, break mirrors, break glass. Why? Because the atoms, when you vibrate at the right frequency, will cause them to vibrate and move so fast that the structure breaks down. Okay? So, yeah, higher vibes break the goblet down. This is a guy who will show you something about that. Here we go. I hope the sound is working.
That's why he's wearing glasses.
That's a vibration that is in the same frequency as the goblet. But you didn't see the goblet move very much. You could have if you looked really close. Let me show it to you in a laboratory experiment. And here we go. Watch this goblet. Go ahead, goblet. Go ahead, goblet. Look at the glass. It exploded. Why? You saw a glass, rigid as it was, start to become flexible and fluid and shape change. Why? The vibrations were extremely high and they caused the atoms to move so fast. It's called harmonic resonance. It's vibration in harmony, harmonic resonance, okay? It's constructive interference. That's another word for it. Now, a little experiment. Now that you've seen how it works, watch this. 5 goblets, different frequencies. Frequency V, W, X, Y, and Z. Tuning fork, frequency X. Question, I strike the tuning fork. what's going to happen to the 5 goblets? I'll give you 5 seconds to think about it before I push the button.
One and the next.
All of them?
X.
X.
Ah, you're so smart. I can't pull anything over on you. Okay, here we go. What's going to happen? Boom. Only the one that is in harmony will actually move in response. The others are not in harmony, so the vibration doesn't affect them. Oh, this is a nice little simple story. I say, no, this is the most profound story for your life. What do you mean? I go, well, here's what we understand. Look at it this way. I have a guitar, guitar 1. I hit the A string, strike, pluck, whatever you do. I don't play guitar. A string, and the A note vibrates away. Then I put my finger, stop the string. Now I have 2 guitars exactly tuned the same. What's going to happen in guitar 2? This guitar 1, A string. What's going to happen in guitar 2? It's going to vibrate which string?
A.
Oh, you're so smart. Okay, now watch this. I put my finger and stop the vibration on this one. What's going to happen now?
It's gonna keep going.
The vibration is going to come back. What string? This little simple thing may be one of the most important things you hear today. Why? It's called harmonic resonance. I said, what do you mean, resonance? That they're in harmony and they work together. The little secret part is, okay, whose power just activated this one after I shut it off and then it started again? Whose power activated that? 2? I got you now. You know why? It's its own power coming back. It was the power that activated it, and it's the same power that brought it back. And it has a name, and it's called the law of resonance. Say that, law of resonance. Law of resonance. I go, why is that relevant? Your thoughts are vibrations. Your thoughts are sent out into the world. Stand outside in the world. I said, well, no, I read your thoughts when I put that cap on your head. It's called electroencephalograph. I can read your brain activity inside your head. Oh, if I put the wires on your inside your head, you have thoughts. Problem. They're not contained in your head. There's a new device. Newer device is called magnetoencephalograph. This is the primitive version that we're building. And I want you to notice something. Where's the probe? It doesn't touch the head. They're reading your vibrations from your mind out here. There's a very important insight. Your thoughts are not contained in your head. Your thoughts are vibrations sent out into the field. And this becomes critical. This is how other people can read your mind or, can feel you. How come you can get near somebody and say, oh, I don't like the feeling, or I like the feeling? So what are you feeling? You're feeling their conscious thoughts, their vibration. That's what you're doing. Let me show you the newer version because technology made it look really good and more expensive. And there it is. But it's reading your brain activity out here. So the point becomes critical. Your brain is a tuning fork. Your brain is broadcasting your thoughts. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, they're still being broadcast. You think your thoughts are contained in your head? No, you are broadcasting your thoughts into the field. I say, so what? Law of resonance, baby. Here's 5 goblets. Dalai Lama, Scarface, a Greek couple in love, Ku Klux Klan, kids in harmony. I say, which of these goblets is going to respond to this person? Why? Because this person is broadcasting their vibration. I say, you know what? It depends on the nature of the vibration. If it's a vibration of fear, which goblet is going to be active? You bet. I say, why is it relevant? Just like the guitar. You send out the vibe, you activated something that was in harmony with that vibe, and guess what? The law of resonance will bring it back home to you. You send out a negative thought, be prepared. A negative thing is going to come back to you because it's a vibration of resonance and will only resonate with something that has the same vibration. But in contrast, if you're sending out something that's not fear, you're sending out love. Which goblet now? I go, which of these? I go, no, Dalai Lama will show up at your door. And I go, why is this relevant? What happens in your life is not an accident. It's not a coincidence. It's actually what you're broadcasting and returning back to you in what we call the law of resonance at this point, okay? And the significance is then you all of a sudden better start thinking about what the hell are you thinking? Because your thought is not contained in your head. If it's a positive thought, thank God the only thing that's going to come back to you is something that resonates with positive. But if you live in fear and concern and I'm scared and all that, I say, what do you think is going to show up? A reason to be concerned, a reason to be scared. The guy on the street that's a mugger, he doesn't pick anybody who walks down the street. He picks the one whose vibration is in fear. Why? That's the one that's going to give it up right away. They don't even have to say, give me your watch. Okay, here it is. You know, he doesn't pick the big guy walking down the street like this, like he's not afraid. Why? Because give me your watch, and the guy will just punch him out, that's why. So he knows. The lion does not pick any animal for its food. It looks at a herd of antelope, and what does it do? Which is the weakest one. Why? The lion doesn't need the antlers for its den. Oh, look at the antlers. Oh my God. That's us. We do that. The lion goes, I need to eat. Who's the fastest, easiest one I can get? The weakest one. What does the lion do? Scans the energy of all of them and finds the weakest one, and that's the one it chases. And that's the way nature works. It takes the weakest ones out. Are you the weakest ones? I said, what are you thinking? Are you afraid of this world when you walk out this door? Well, then be careful, because that vibration is not going to activate some wonderful things. It's going to activate a reason for you to be afraid. That's how it works. It's total all resonance. So, as I close on this session right now, the movie The Matrix. Oh, science fiction? The Matrix? Science fiction? Nope. The Matrix is a documentary. Why? All of you have been programmed. That was the essence of the movie. But it also says what? You can get out of the program. By what? Well, they give you 2 pills. Take the blue pill, you stay in the program. Take the red pill, you get out of the program. I said, the red pill? I can get out of my program? You have all taken the red pill at one time in your life. And guess what? Most amazing experience you ever had in your life. I said, when did you take that red pill and get out of the program? I'll tell you when. You ready? Go ahead, show me when. Go ahead, take the pill. Damn it! The honeymoon effect. Your life could be blah, 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 blah. You meet somebody on this day, 24 hours later, oh, life is so beautiful. I'm so in love. I'm so happy. Everything is beautiful. The food is great. Everything is great. The honeymoon effect. What the hell is the honeymoon effect? Well, I'll tell you what it is. A state of exuberant health. Why? Honeymoon effect, the chemistry of the brain, oxytocin, dopamine, vasopressin, growth hormone. The honeymoon effect has chemistry to it. Abundant life energy. We're adults, some of us. And the point about it is this. I bet you some of you, when you first fell in love, made love for days without stopping for food or sleep. Okay. I'm sorry if I upset some of you. No offense. And the other aspect of this is the experience of heaven on earth. You had heaven on earth when you fell in love. This is a way of life. It could be every day of your life, but you didn't touch it until you fell in love. I say, why? What was it that did it? And here's the answer. You ready? Science. A wandering mind is an unhappy mind. I'll explain it because you already know what I mean. When your mind is wandering, it's not paying attention, then who takes over when you're not paying attention? The subconscious. Well, that's the one with all the negative stuff that you downloaded. So the idea is when your mind is wandering, your life is coming from programs that you don't even want. But guess what happens? When you fall in love, it's different. When you fall in love, every activity is mind wandering except making love. Why? The moment you fall in love, you stop thinking. Why? You've been waiting for this person your whole life. Why would you think and disconnect? No, you are staying alert. You're staying mindful. What does that mean? You're not thinking. Why? You want to be here for this. Thinking takes you away. So for the first time in your life, you stop thinking. I go, then what? Well, if you're not thinking, then what mind is controlling you? Yeah. Not the subconscious. That only comes in when you're thinking. The conscious. I said, what's the conscious mind? Wishes and desires. What do you think you manifested when you fell in love? Wishes and desires. It was not an accident. You just stopped playing the damn program, and then you end up with heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is always here. It's only when your programs get between you and that world that you lose it. You want it back, stop thinking. Because then you're manifesting from the creative wishes and desires. And I go, wow, that's the honeymoon. And I go, this is really great because the honeymoon takes us from 5% of our conscious experience and takes it to 90%. And our programs go down to less than 10. So when you are in love, heaven on earth is the manifestation. That's what you did. But guess what? Heaven on earth was always here. When did it disappear? When thinking came back. The moment thinking comes back, game over. So during the honeymoon, you're staying conscious. You're not thinking. You're creating. You and your partner. Wishes, desires, manifestation, heaven on earth. You're creating that. Then what happens? Well, down the road, which is different for each couple, thinking gets back in there. I said, what happens when you're thinking? Conscious mind is not working now. Conscious mind is inside looking for something. So what behavior are you playing when you are thinking? Subconscious. Ooh, that's the one with all the negative doo-doo in it. And the relevance about that is, my partner Margaret comes up to me, and we're in a honeymoon. I'm thinking about, oh, I got to work on my job. I have some chores to do. And she comes up, ooh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, blah, blah, blah. She looks at me and goes, who are you? Where did that come from? I'm Bill. I didn't even see what the hell I just said. She saw it. She experiences it. I didn't experience it. Why? I was thinking. I played my father. And all of a sudden, the honeymoon starts to lose its gilt edge. Starts to become a little darker than it was before. And you might stay with a person and just say, yeah, I still love them, but the juiciness of heaven on earth seems to disappear. I go, why did it disappear? You started thinking. The moment you start thinking, your program wasn't you. Your program is what you downloaded in that first 7 years. And I say, so what can you do about it? I say, well, 50% of marriages end in divorce because they started out heaven on earth and they ended up in the trash can. And the idea was why? And the answer is because we started thinking and started playing programs that we got from other people which disempowered us. And so the idea that, what did Margaret and I know? She and her former husband had a major training workshop program. They had 128 people working for them every day on workshops and training. They knew about this. I knew about this. So Margaret and I, we had a face-to-face once. It was like, control freak, ah! And then we decided, never again will this happen. And we both know we have programs. And we both know that when those programs show up, we may not even be aware we're playing that program. So we decided, no arguments. All we needed was a discussion. Did I want to say what I just said? And then I say, what did I say? And then she repeats it. I go, no, I didn't mean that. And all of a sudden, we knew that these programs pop up, and you can rewrite these programs. And when you rewrite these programs, guess what? You can change the programs in the subconscious that you got from others and put in what? Your wishes, your desires, your aspirations as programs. I go, why is that relevant? Then it means whether you're thinking or you're not thinking, your behavior will manifest heaven on earth every day. Margaret and I, 26 years, heaven on earth after the first argument. It's not an accident. I had to change the programming I downloaded from my father and replace it with really positive things. So when I was thinking, whatever was coming out from my subconscious was positive, loving, life-affirming consciousness. Can you do this? Of course you can. I can do it. Anybody can do it. But I need you to understand this. And then I need to tell you later, and I will, how to rewrite the program. Because if you know how to do that, you get your power back. And that's why I'm here, damn it. I already got this thing working for me. I need it to work for you. Why? You're my world. And I want my world to be in love. Because there's no better experience on this planet than love. It's healing. It's healthy. It is what creates the harmony that creates heaven on earth. And that's why when I get a chance to tell you in our next presentation, you don't die and go to heaven. You came here. But they said, well, it doesn't look like heaven to me. And I go, your programming has taken you away from heaven. Take the red pill. Get out of the program. And heaven is here every day of your life. And I want that for you because I've tasted it and I'll never go back. Why? This is the most beautiful life experience you could ever have. When you get the negative programming out of your life. Each of you is a creator. And in that creative mode is a choice. You want to create the garbage or you want to create heaven? Have you created heaven? If you fall in love, even if it's only a couple of days, you have an experience of love on a level of heaven on earth. And you can have that every day of your life. So when you leave this planet, you leave it with the greatest experiences that say, oh my God, it was heaven. I manifested the most beautiful experience a human can have. And I want that for all of you. Why? Because if you have it, my life gets better. And every one of us gets a better life. And that's why it's so important for us to wake up now in this time of evolution and change the world so when we leave here, it's heaven on earth for every one of you. I want that for you. It's just too beautiful. Thank you very much.
Girls,